Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Intersect Project podcast. I am your host, Paul, and we're here today to discuss Chuck versus the best friend. Now, some people think this is an okay episode. I like this episode a lot, and I'll go into that and iterate it, later on in the podcast. So, let's just dive right in. Before we dive in, I want to thank everybody. Uh, we're getting really close to 1,000 downloads. I think we're less than 10 away, so that's really cool. I'm really excited. I don't know how to celebrate it because I just don't know what to do, honestly. But I will figure that out on my own time, and I'll have a little celebration for 1,000 downloads on the podcast. And I could have done it without you guys listening. So thank you for listening to the podcast. It's been real fun doing it so far, and I hope to continue it forever. Well, not forever, till we run out of Chuck episodes. Maybe they'll make more. But I digress. Thank you for listening. I want to plug the Chuck Project social media site once more. We got a lot going on over there. We got a ton of people visiting. It's a lot of fun. It seems like you guys are really enjoying it. The ones that have visited and have profiles and stuff seem like you're really enjoying it, and that's awesome. I do have to plug that we are looking for funding just because, running a website's kind of expensive, and a website like that where a lot of people trying to visit it and we're trying to keep the speeds up so you don't get bogged down, it's expensive. So we're trying to raise some money so we can run the website year round. I believe all the links and stuff are on the Chuck Project Social Go page. So go check that out. Donate if you can. If you can't, it's not like we don't understand. I especially understand. I'm a college student who's pretty much broke, but I understand if you can't pay, or if you can't contribute any money. That is completely understandable. I'm trying to say don't feel pressured to donate, but we would like people to donate so we can keep it going year round. And to help entice people to donate, we are having a raffle to go along with the contributions. We are hoping to reach our goal of $700 so we can run the website year round. And for every dollar you contribute, we are going to give you 2 tickets into a drawing. And this drawing is for, I believe, a box set of Chuck. I don't know if it's Blu-ray DVD or just DVD, but either way, that's a pretty good deal. You contribute like $20. That's 40 entries for something that's worth 5 times that, monetarily at least. Come on, it's Chuck, people. That stuff's priceless. So just giving that to you guys. Just trying to give you guys all the information I have so you can have all that information. All right. So I guess that does it for plugs. This might be a new thing, evidently. I might have to plugs. Actually, I'm trying to do a little segment where I take plugs and I plug for people. So I'm thinking about doing send me some important thing to you, what you think is important to you, a project, a charity, just a TV show, a web series, just anything that you think needs plugging. Send it to me on Twitter. If I get enough responses for this, I'll pick one a week and I'll plug them on the podcast for everybody to view. So maybe that'll be something. So my Twitter handle is @ChuckRewatch33. Go ahead and send those to me if you want. Send me your opinions on the podcast. Tell me what I can do better. Tell me what you like. All right. So let's just dive into the episode in hand. Alright, so let's just delve into these categories that we like to cover first, because they're fun segments, fun categories to do. Song of the episode, hit of the episode. So, let's start off with hit of the episode. There is a lot of ass kicking going on in this episode. It's pretty cool. We finally get some bad guy fights. We finally get some good guy fights, I guess, too. We got good guys fighting bad guys, I guess is what I'm trying to get across. But I would have to go. My choice for hit of the episode is Sarah Walker for just pummeling the crap out of Soom Lee. That is just a great fight. They're fighting, they're throwing each other into cars. Sarah wins the fight by smacking her head into the car, the steering wheel 3 times, and then popping the airbag in her face. That's not hit of the week material. I don't know what is. So, congratulations, Yvonne Strahovski as Sarah Walker. You have won this week's hit of the episode. Now, once again, if you're keeping score at home, you know what the score is. If you don't, you now will be told the score. Hit of the episode score for season 2 goes like this so far: Sarah Walker at 11, Chuck at 1, Big Mike at 1, and John Casey at 1. I think Sarah's got this. Actually, I'm pretty sure she's mathematically won this season. So, congratulations, Yvonne Strahovski, for taking season 2's hit of the episode overall winner. I mean, we'll crown you officially at the end of the season, but as of right now, I'm pretty sure, mathematically speaking, you've won. So, congratulations. Now we'll move on to song of the episode. And up until the end, there was a lot of competition. Chromio's song was really funny for the situation. Mama's Boy, for when they're spying on Anna in Jeff and Lester's van. Or it's really Jeff's van, but Lester kind of hangs out there a lot too. So that song fit, and it's a funny song. It's good. That was good. And then I like Jane's Addiction. So Jane's Addiction song right there in the beginning was pretty good. It fit the situation. But we all know who I'm gonna pick. We all know who the real song of the episode goes to, and that goes to Africa by Toto, performed by everyone's new favorite band, Jeffster. Now, I'll talk more about Jeffster later on in the podcast when I get to the meat of the episode, but I really like Jeffster. It's one of my favorite running, I wouldn't even call it a running gag, I would just call it a running plot line. It's fun, it's different, and it's creative, and I like it. So my vote goes out to Jeffster performing Africa, originally written by Toto. So congratulations, Jeffster. You have finally won a song of the episode. And by finally, I mean you finally showed up. But this is kind of a spoiler, but it's really not. They'll come back. They'll be back. They'll be back many times, and you'll enjoy them every single time, like everybody else. So congratulations. Alright, so let's go right into the meat of this episode. Alright, so Chuck versus the best friend. Now, a little trivia: Chuck versus the best friend is actually supposed to come before Suburbs. It's supposed to go best friend, Suburbs, then Beefcake, which is next week's episode. It'll be next week's podcast episode. But this week was supposed to be Suburbs, and last week was supposed to be Best Friend. That's the true order. I don't know why they got out of order when they were airing them this way, but that's just what happened. I mean, it's not like too big of a deal, but it makes everything kind of weird when you see last week she's Sarah, or Chuck's like, hey, I don't really see a future between me and Sarah. And then in this episode, some of the looks they give, it doesn't seem like they've had that conversation. It's because technically their characters haven't had that conversation yet. So if you're a little confused on that, that's why. It's supposed to, the episodes are out of order. So let's talk about Chuck versus the best friend. Now, everybody. We start off the episode at Elizabeth Cady Stanton Middle School in Toronza. I don't remember the name. Something like that. In California, and I think that's a cool, dope name for a school. It's pretty progressive, and I like it. But Elizabeth Cady Stanton was dope, so that's why I enjoy it. But we see Morgan being chased by a girl, and then just straight up getting punched in the face. He got demolished. She just destroyed him. Just one. She almost got hit in the wing. Just that's pretty good. But anyway, we see Chuck save the day. That's kind of become a theme between them two, Morgan and Chuck. We see Morgan getting into trouble and Chuck saving his butt every time. It's a played story. And not just, okay, I don't mean played story like I'm getting tired of it. It's just Morgan seems to be fed up with it, and we see that later on in the episode, and that's why he's mad at Chuck. He's not really mad at him for calling him a loser. He's more mad because he does these things that gets him in these situations where he needs to be saved by Chuck. And he's tired of being saved by Chuck. He wants to be more self-reliant, which is a nice sign of character growth. And you need character growth, or a show will never survive. I mean, even Seinfeld, a show about nothing, had a little character development. So we see Morgan. Upset. Anna has moved on to another guy, and he's not happy about that because he still likes Anna. He's just not very good at displaying emotions and stuff. So they go and spy on Anna. Now, I'm going to talk about Team Bartowski and Morgan and Anna, and then I will do the... You know what? I'm going to sprinkle in Ellie and Awesome's wedding since it's not that big a topic. I don't want to just leave it at the end. So let's just continue with the whole track. So then we see Ellie and Awesome. Ellie's freaking out. She's planning this wedding. She doesn't feel like Awesome's doing anything. And so she's like, hey, I really need help. Pick a band, please. So what does Awesome do? He's too busy. He makes Chuck pick the band. But, I mean, that's not a terrible choice, honestly, because Chuck's really into music. So it probably would not be a terrible idea, though he should be helping because it's his wedding, too. But that's besides the point. So back to Morgan and them. Morgan convinces Jeff, Lester, and Chuck to go spy on Anna with him. And Casey and Sarah follow them to spy on them because they have to protect Bartowski. And I assume he said he just wants them as backup, just in case. But anyway, they're following, and Casey's like, what the hell are these guys doing? And Sarah's like, it looks like they're up to some pretty decent spy work, which proves that Jeff and Lester are really creepy and are really good at spying on women. It's kind of creepy, but hey, we love them just the same. Anyway, we see Anna's new squeeze, and Chuck flashes because he is bad news. He's wrapped up in some triad shit. He is bad news bears type bad. Except he doesn't win a championship at the end of this episode, sadly. So Chuck tells Casey and Sarah, obviously, and now, as a matter of national security, Chuck has to go and befriend not Ellie, Anna and Jason, her new boyfriend. So he's obviously upset with that. That's pretty bad. I mean, making him betray his best friend like that's horrible. Even Casey agrees that that's bad. I mean, he's like, Semper Fi, Semper Fidelis. You're men before everybody else, except in this case, when mission comes before Semper Fi. But I don't know. I was really thrown back, at least the first time I watched this, by Casey agreeing with Chuck. It's like an episode of The Twilight Zone. So they Chuck has to go befriend him, and he does. He gets a double date set up with Anna and Jason, and him and Sarah, and they go to that car show. But he's got an ulterior motive. He also wants to try and convince Anna that Morgan is good for her, that he's better than Jason. So Chuck tries out this ulterior motive, and I applaud him. Good for you, Chuck. You're looking out for your best friend. And guess what happens? Morgan finds out that Chuck is hanging out, and he doesn't seem very happy. Now, we also see Chuck trying to plant a bug to capture the newly discovered triads that are working with Jason, and he obviously trips over a power cord and sets off some crazy Rube Goldberg machine that ends up alerting the triads that there's a bad guy, or not a bad guy, I guess a bad guy for them, but there's someone in the garage spying on them. And that's when they find Morgan outside spying. That's when they think he's a spy. So Morgan's captured, and Chuck has to save him by basically just demolishing his feelings. He tears Morgan a new one in front of everybody. It's weird. I mean, obviously it's not directed exactly at Morgan, but he's like, "Hey, Morgan, you got to get over this. It's getting a little creepy, stuff like that." He's just trying to make sure they don't kill him. I mean, I get the sentiment behind it, but you took it a little too far, Chuck. You took it a little too far. So, Morgan's safe for tonight, but they find the bug that Chuck planted, so the next day they're going to go get Morgan. But while that's happening, Jeff and Lester set up in the Awesome's apartment to try and audition for the wedding. But Lester gets cold feet and backs out, which is weird. I would never expected Lester to get cold feet like that, but he does. So that audition is ruined. What is Jeffster gonna do? Well, that's when old Jeff goes, "Hey, I'm gonna get us a second chance." So he shows up at their door later the next day and is like, "Hey, please give us another chance. We have a dream. Lester he got nervous and he couldn't do it. Give us another chance." And Awesome agreed. So later on, we'll see their performance. But in the meantime, Chuck is just really bummed out. He's trying to explain to Sarah why he's upset, because to him, Morgan is more than just a friend. He's a brother. They've gone through so much together that at this point they're not just friends. They're brothers, and Chuck loves him like a brother, which is really good friendship. I mean, it's the closest bond of a friendship you can have. So that's when we see, but then Sarah kind of brings him back to Cloud Nine. He's like, "Hey, Chuck, I know that you really care for Morgan, but think of everybody else's friends that could die because these triads have let a bunch of guns and drugs and stuff into the country." I mean, it's something I wouldn't expect Sarah to say. I'd expect more of Casey to say it, but she's right. I mean, you got to think big picture sometimes, Chuck. Sometimes the benefit of all outweighs the benefit of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So I mean, sometimes you got to think bigger picture. But I don't think I don't think Sarah even holds him like in contempt for thinking of Morgan like that. He got caught up in the moment and he's really bummed out about it. So Chuck confronts Morgan. He's like, "Well, I'm sorry," and this is when we learn, like I said earlier in the episode, Morgan is just tired of Chuck having to save him. He's tired of putting himself in situations where Chuck has to save him. So Morgan's done. He's like, "I'm gonna turn it over a new leaf," and that's when the triads come looking for him to beat him up, and Chuck knocks him out. And that's when the triads find a knocked out Morgan and put him in the trunk. And Chuck figures out that the triads are going to blow up the Chinese ambassador in an old car, and they get there to try and stop it, and they find Morgan is in the trunk of that car. So now Morgan could die with the Chinese ambassador. So somebody's got to do something. So Sarah goes to look for the car. It's not there. Soon Lee is, and they have a battle of the ages. Meanwhile, Chuck is chasing down the car with Casey on the very top of the car because Chuck won't let Casey in because Casey will stop him from trying to rescue his friend. So he makes him promise that he's going to help him save Morgan, and he lets him in. And that's when Casey pulls out the remote control and drives the car himself. All this is going on, and Sarah and Soon Lee are beating the crap out of each other. And Sarah finally wins that competition, like I explained in the hit of the episode, popping the airbag in her face. She steals a fancy Shelby Cobra. I believe it's a Shelby Cobra. I'm not really good with vehicles and cars and stuff, but I believe it was a Shelby Cobra. And she makes it there just in time as Chuck has taken the bomb out of the car, put it in the NerfHerder, and we see it drive across the highway and boom, explode. The problem is Casey and Sarah think Chuck is in the NerfHerder machine. So we get to see Sarah legitimately horrified when that car explodes because she just thinks she lost Chuck forever. She is visibly upset, violently upset, really. Because I don't want to put emotions into a scene that doesn't have emotions. I'm not one to overanalyze. I hate overanalyzation. But I believe with enough context clues and enough dialogue and looks and stuff from previous episodes that she is literally dismayed and horrified that that car exploded because she thinks she has lost the love of her life. I believe that. I really do. It's probably a bit of a stretch. Maybe love of her life is a bit of a stretch, but a person she truly loves has just exploded in front of her face in her mind. Now, obviously, we find out just a few seconds later, Chuck is just driving it with the remote control. He is right behind him, and she does not look happy to find that out. So, obviously, he he didn't really do anything wrong. It's just a coincidence. It's not even a coincidence. It's just events that happened that led to people expressing feelings that they're not sure if they would have expressed. So, obviously, Chuck saw how visibly hurt that caused her to be. So, we get a little bit of that emotion she has, that love she has for him is definitely there. So, Chuck got to see that. Now, obviously, he's got to get Morgan back to the Bymore so he doesn't suspect anything. He gets him back. Morgan wakes up and he's like, "Man, I can't even take a beating without looking dumb." Because he thinks he just got his ass handed to him in a fight. But he didn't. Chuck just knocked him out with some minty breath spray. So, they talk, and everything's back to normal with them. They're back to being best friends. Morgan gets a chance to talk to Anna. He tells her, "Hey, I care for you." They get back together. And then we get the performance of a lifetime in the Bymore. Awesome takes Ellie down to the Bymore. He gets another chance, or they get to see Jeffster perform. Awesome was never going to give them the job of the wedding band, but he just wanted to give them an opportunity to live a dream they've had. And I think that's nice because we all have dreams that we want to accomplish. And I think you should try that. If you have that dream, I hate sounding self-helpy and all that bullshit, but if you have a dream, go for it, I guess. That's all I'm going to say. It's a nice sentiment. If you have a dream, go for it. You deserve it because you're cool. I don't know you personally, but you're probably cool. Go for your dream. So they perform Africa by Toto, which is a fantastic song, by the way. Anybody who disagrees is wrong. It's a fantastic song. So Anna and Morgan are back together, and then they meet up with Chuck and Sarah. And Chuck and Sarah explain this whole situation. Or they don't explain any situation. I don't know. I misspoke. I'm thinking of a different episode. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I watched another episode when I was watching this episode, studying it and writing notes and stuff. But, or I guess after I was writing notes and stuff, I watched another episode because I like watching Chuck. It's fun. But Chuck grabs her hand, or they were kind of holding hands, but he closes in on their hands, and then it shows the look they have between. And the look kind of says, hey, there's something here in the future. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen right now because Chuck gives a little flash of that little flash of a smile. It's not even really it's a little flash of a smile. He pretty much smiles directly at her. She doesn't really give him a smile back. But then she looks away from him, looks off camera, and then gives a quick grin. That's the moment they want you to see. It's right before the credits. It's moments like that, which are subtle hints as to what's going to happen with this couple, with these two people. It's in all these, it's all sitcoms, it's all TV shows. If there's a love interest or something like that, look at how they look. Well, at each other, obviously, but how they look after they've looked at each other right off camera. Like right after they break their eye contact, what do their faces say? What does their body language say? That is the biggest indicator of everything. So when I see that grin, I go from, well, maybe she was just upset because she lost a really good friend, and then that smile hit, and I'm like, she still loves him. She still loves him. And it's not like she still loves him after that horrible debacle of Suburbs, because like I said before, this is supposed to take place before Suburbs. So she's in love with him. That grin, I won't say it 100% tells me, but I think you can grab from that. You can grasp from that the idea that she does love him. That's just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, let me know. Let everybody know. It's fun. It's fine. Everybody has different opinions. That's how I feel. And that's the end of this episode. It's a shorter podcast episode, but that's just because this episode is really all about kind of one thing, a couple things that really never did get too in depth. So there you have it. Chuck versus the best friend. And I'd like to thank you all for giving me your attention for another 30 minutes to babble on about this show, Gone Too Young, and the show that we all love and we share a common interest with. I hope you've enjoyed my analysis. I hope you've enjoyed what I thought. And like I said earlier, send me your opinions. At Chuck Rewatch 33, capital C in Chuck. Capital C. The first C is capitalized. Send me anything Chuck related. Honestly, I'm here to talk. I check that Twitter account pretty frequently, just to see what the old Chuck peeps are up to. But send me your opinions. Send me any plugs. Like I said from earlier, anything you want plugged on the podcast. Send me just anything Chuck related or plug related. I'm all ears. I'm here to help. I'm here to enjoy the show with others that enjoy the show. It's nice to connect the community like that. So, thanks for listening. Hopefully enough people download this podcast to put us over 1,000. I believe it'll happen. So thank you for helping us with this episode get over 1,000 downloads. It's a big milestone. Let's get to 2,000, 10,000. Let's just keep those numbers climbing, baby. Keep those numbers climbing. Thank you guys. Thanks for enjoying the episode. I hope you enjoyed the episode at least. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But let's end on a happy note. Jester's here, and they're here to stay. Signing off. I'm Paul. Remember, everybody loves Chuck. Some people just don't know it yet.